Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of Planet Coaster. Now, things are going to be a bit different for this episode, and it's something I actually want to try out to see how it works. I noticed my last episode was very slow, like it took a long time to progress, and it might just be that I'm not very good at the game, I'm still very new at it. But for now, I'm thinking that I'm going to do like time-lapse videos, which is what this is going to be. And then I'm also going to do like little tours of it in between every so many time lapses. So it gives you like a very fast view of me creating the park, but then also I have like a slower video where I do the live commentary with it and sort of show the layout of the park, show everything, ride the roller coasters, stuff like that. So it's going to be kind of like a mix, I think. Now, that also depends on how everything turns out. But anyway, with that all being said, let's get right into the video. So here we are back at the park. Now, as you can see, we didn't get much done in the first episode. I believe what I wanted to do first was, you know that little gap that's there in front of the carousel, that little triangle thing? Yeah, I didn't much care for that. It really bothered me, so I just went through and I found like a sign, put it there. It's not like, it's not the best thing, but you know, it's better than that little patch. And then, right here is where I planned on putting the shopping district. So, what I do is I threw down a couple stalls per building, because I didn't want to do the whole, everything gets its own stall. I'm actually making a park in my own time as well, not in the videos in which I combine stalls, and it tends to work out pretty well. I mean, like I said before, I'm still relatively new to this game, so I'm not necessarily really great at any of this, but, you know, for being relatively new to the game, not really knowing what I'm doing, I think this stuff turns out okay. And really, the whole thing with all the buildings is why I decided to do time lapses in the first place, because this stuff takes a really long time. But I decided, you know, instead of going for a general roof style, this is back to the building, by the way. I wanted to do something fun with the roof, so I did waves with the metal roofing, or roofs, whatever. So I think it looks kind of cool. If I remember correctly, I actually stick with this style for the other buildings around here as well. At least like the metal roof with the concrete lower parts. But a lot of this stuff is just me kind of going for it and hoping things turn out well. And overall, it kind of works out. I think that's just kind of how I play these games. It's not, I don't go with the overall plan for everything. I just kind of go with what I feel is right at any given moment. But, I mean, there's no like actual set way of playing these games anyway, because, you know, it's kind of like, it's a sandbox game. So right now, what I'm doing is adding signs. I prefer to do the whole neon signs. I don't know why. I like the look of it. It looks cool, in my opinion. I just like lights, I guess. And finding a way to fill in those top sections was really hard for me, because I ended up not really liking anything I was doing with it. Which, that right there could have been cool with the track piece coming out of the ground, but I don't know why, I didn't care for it. Now, place filler I think is one of the things I struggle the most with, especially with things like this. Milkshake, yeah, is definitely a good way, and then I found neon milkshakes, so I ended up filling in a lot of space with that. Which kind of makes it look like the Cosmic Cow is like the main feature of this building, when really it's not. But, you know, it's filler. That could be like the star attraction. People are gonna want food, but after they get their food, they're gonna want milkshakes, you know? Also, what I tried to do here was I tried to add a different kind of wall to make the top part look different, but it didn't look right. Now, if I could have found the glass wall that was rounded, that would have been great, but I don't think they have that in this game at all, honestly. So, I just fill it back in with concrete. Yeah, concrete wall, that's right. What I decided to do after that was put in some windows on the top, which, I don't know, that's just kind of my go-to filler, I think, anymore. Just add windows, because why not? And I'm not necessarily good at making them 100% evenly, like, spaced, or evenly placed, because there is no, like, grid lock for it, but now, I do what I can. And then I added a door in the back for each store, give it, I guess, sort of realism. You wouldn't see the guys crawling in through the front, you know. That's kind of the thought I was going with. Then I also noticed that everyone was just throwing garbage all over my park, even though I didn't have anything to buy yet. So, garbage cans. Of course, garbage cans. And benches, I kind of placed them in all around the carousel, because that seemed like a nice central, like, relaxing point, you know? So I did about 3 benches on each part of the circle. And then I also decided to hire some staff to, you know, pick up all of that trash and to make sure my rides don't break down. Okay. And at this point, I start working on the second building. This one is going to be for souvenirs and stuff. I had an ATM in the middle just because there wasn't one yet. Kind of makes sense for an ATM to be in between, like, souvenir shops, I guess. That was just my thought. Plus, there's only 2 souvenir shops. So, with this, I'm going with the same concrete sort of, you know, the concrete with the curved roof. And I decided to build the wall first this time, because of the roof not fitting right part. But really, in the end, the roof ended up floating over anyway. It doesn't sit down on it right, so I have to do the level adjustment anyway, but it's not bad. I think it's mostly due to the fact that the roof sits, like, kinda into the walls a little bit or something. I don't know. Then trying to see the front of this to be able to place all of the things that I wanted to place was kind of the hard part, because of the other building being right next to it. But in the end, I got it. And it's not, like, perfect, but it's okay. It works. And that's what really matters, is that it works. And yes, this time I did add little glass canopy things. I think that's meant for a roof, but I actually just like the glass for, like, hanging over where you buy stuff. It makes it kind of look modern-y. I mean, I don't know if I know what I'm talking about, but that's how it made sense to me in my head. I was looking for, like, a really modern style shopping district, and overall I believe it worked out. So now I'm just I added the garbage cans in front of the store. And now it is time to make a small little information center. And when I say small, I mean small. Like, I didn't want this to take up a large portion of the entrance, because I plan on making my own custom entrance at some point, which is exactly what I did in my personal file that I'm not doing recordings on. I'm not sure why I decided to make it out of brick. I think I did it because of how I made the bathrooms. And, yep, I also did the curved roof, and then add the information stuff to it. Like I said, I stuck pretty much with the concrete and metal roof. So now it's time for the first attraction, which of course is a Ferris wheel-like thing. It's Star Wheel. And then many people believe that you don't really need large queue lines, but from my time in the Roller Coaster Tycoon games, you do, because they fill up and then no one's able to ride. So I did a little bit of, you know, the windy queue line. And then now it's time for scenery, because it looks very bare in front of this. So what I ended up doing is just the electronic sign, which I tried to fit in the first episode, and then added a bunch of shrubs and bushes and stuff in front of it to give it a more nice, colorful, natural look instead of just being a plain electronic sign just sitting in there. I like the outcome of it, I believe. It actually looks pretty nice. Now, if you're wondering why I'm adding palm trees to this, which you might be, it is because if you remember, I did pick the tropical place. As you can see, there's a bunch of palm trees outside the entrance, which I actually used the things at the entrance as an idea of what I should put in, like, the park itself for scenery. So there's that. Also, as you can see, I'm putting in my first thrill ride, which is nice. Why is it nice? Because it is. People like thrills. I start to fill up the rest of this whole space with just a bunch of rides, like the more, like flat ride type things, which it kind of makes sense, I guess. My shopping district is kind of like in the middle, and I found out there's really not all that many shops anyway. So what I end up doing is filling up the rest with flat rides, and then I can scatter a couple flat rides around the rest of the park, and I'm thinking about adding my first roller coaster next episode. I don't actually get to it this episode. Now, what I'm doing here is just adding a couple small shop things here. Or actually, I think I just add one. I think it's the slushy place. I actually missed it. But yeah, I'm pretty sure I just had the slushy place here. Because, you know, in the middle of all these rides, you just get one little slushy thing. And I wanted to put something on the roof, but I couldn't actually find a sign that I liked for on the roof. So I ended up just kind of leaving that alone in the end. So there it is. There's a slushy place. And that side is essentially done. So now it's on to more rides. Which this ride reminds me of the Tilt-A-Whirl, which I don't know if that's what you call it, but That's what it looks like to me. That's how I grew up calling it. This, then I found like a Ring of Fire type ride. Really, on this side, I just wanted to jam like a bunch of rides in, so I ended up getting these 3 rides, which I didn't like how that clipped through the building, which was weird to me, so I replaced it. And then, of course, you gotta add a queue line. Sort of a weird looking one, but I'll fill it in with scenery. Then I gotta place the entrance and exit on this one. The reason I put small gaps in them here or there is because I plan on filling it in with either trees or shrubbery at some point. And then I add one more thing here. And it is a drink place. That's right, I add coffee and the Mexican food. Now, how I think of this when I make this, because I did this initially in my other park too. I think of it as Starbucks and Chipotle. I feel like people might, I don't know, group them together. That might just be me, but so anyway, that was my thought when I made this building. And once again, I'm doing the curved roofs, you know, like all the others, keeping a nice modern-y kind of theme to this park. And yes, I know it's not completely, like, perfectly straight, but it works out in the end. It's not bad. Now what I end up having to do is I make this really more about the coffee place because the Mexican food doesn't really have a lot of signs, and I didn't want to put one vertical like I'm trying to do here because I really just didn't like how it looked. And I had the same problem with when I made this in my personal park, that I can't really find anything for that spot, so I just kinda leave it go. Actually, that's right, I don't leave it go, I actually put windows on it. But either way. And then I think I put doors on here as well. I do put doors on there. And I do put like one more central window in, I think. Yes, I do. Nope, I put more on. 3 more. It's a lot of windows, but hey, you know, it's fine. And that is it. That is the park. That's what I got done in this time lapse, which is a lot actually in comparison to what I did before. So that's all for this episode. I hope you liked it. Next episode I think I'm going to build a roller coaster in this park somewhere. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and thanks for watching.